So
Awesome.
here's one. This is a quote. It's an indirect quote. I'll say it's an indirect quote. But I remember years ago, um, because I love how you raise the boys. Um, and I think I was over with you guys playing on maybe like a TRX in your living room. Remember when you had the TRX suspended?
Yeah, yeah,
One of them was playing on it, like swinging wall to wall, and
yeah.
freaking out. She's like, they're gonna get hurt. And I remember you saying, I let my kids get hurt. I don't let them get injured. And I think that that's like a really beautiful way to, and I'm going to bring it back to the masculine essence and the masculine energy specifically because you also have boys, of teaching real life accountability, real life cause and effect, consequence, um, but also keeping that true masculine energy intact so that they're not having to circle back to it later in life thinking that they know what the masculine energy is, and really it's this more, I don't like the word toxic, but this more misled um, idea of the masculine energy. I think that that's really cool that you're keeping it intact.
Well, thank you. It's true though. You want to, and I think that's, I mean, it's a good statement. I think for anybody really, like your friends. There's the older I get, it's why it's a hard instinct to try and tame, because the masculine energy always wants to fix stuff. It's a fix it type of energy. Um, but people can't be fixed; they have to fix themselves. And trying to control what other people do, either through manipulation or like with your kids, constantly hovering over them, they're never going to learn anything. It's like you don't ever, all of the biggest lessons I've had in my life all came from just out of complete chaos, like just came out of nowhere, and out of and even times where I was trying to control things the most is when I learned, like, you can't, you're not gonna learn anything if you're constantly, you're the one that's always moving every single piece, so you're just stuck on the same board. You need somebody to come through, smack you around a little bit so you can learn something. But it's like, it's hard not to get into arguments with people too, because you want to correct people, but it's like, you're not, most of the time you're not going to resonate with that person, because you're not, when you have that type of corrective energy and somebody's coming from their place either of ego, or with the kids where they're just wiling out, you're not going to reach them, they're not going to hear you. It's just, so a lot of times it's just like, I'll just stand back, and when you need help, I'll be here. Keep an eye on them. And again, like, it's with kids especially, but even with friends, it's like, there's a fine line, that you try to walk with people and with human beings, where you want to impart your wisdom on them, but you have to do it in a way that's not egotistical, which is really hard to do, and not coming off as like, you should do this and you should do that. Oh, you're just telling me what to do. I'm trying to tell you that I did all that same stupid shit that you're doing, and this is where I fucked up. So listen. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to control your life. I'm trying to just tell you, I'm an idiot. Learn from me.
I think that that's also like a really valuable trust builder, to where you're letting the kids live, you're letting them go about life, but you're also being the person they can come home to and be like, I need your advice, or or like, I see this going wrong. Hopefully they start to see it as well. Um,
Yeah.
and I think it's important that they're going to be able to have that trust in you, because dad's going to come through for them, but dad's also not a helicopter parent. Like, you're going to have to bail yourself out of these situations. Um,
Yeah.
And I actually have a memory of learning to drive. And my dad and I we'd get into it. We have very similar personalities, and we would just butt heads. Like for all of my teens and my early 20s, like we couldn't even just be in the same room. So my mom took over teaching me how to drive. And I remember pulling up to a red light, and she's like grabbing onto the oh shit handle and like stomping on the imaginary brake.
Yeah.
And we rolled up to this red light, and I'm like, oh my God, was I paying attention? Would I have not known to stop? Like, do I even have like the ability to drive and like not be a menace on the road? And I was
I don't know.
afraid because and I think mothers are amazing. They're amazing in so many ways, but they tend to really be very overbearing, especially with their boys, which I think is where we make a lot of mistakes. But anyway, I was so afraid in that moment of like, I definitely am not responsible enough to be able to drive because I'm just going to be blasting red lights. Like my mom always has to tell me when to slow down and stop.
Well, she sees all the possibilities, you know. I think that's what the problem is where a dad just sees as, you know, my idiot kids are going to go out and crash the car. Like that's all they see. But the mom sees, the feminine sees, oh my gosh, does he have clean underwear on? Is he going to, if he hits a car? Yeah. What's he going to do if he gets in this situation? You know, like all the scenarios start running. Whereas dads, it's not that necessarily that dads just don't care. It's like they only see a couple of possibilities. It's like he's either going to drive around and be fine, or he's not. Like, and if he's not, we'll figure it out. You know, but it's, you know, the feminine energy, and like, you know, it's like I said, it's all possibilities. So you're seeing all these things. You can make it go crazy. It gives the moms that mom anxiety, because they can see all of the crappy things that can happen to their children, and it makes them worry. So yeah. I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either. I'm, for the moment, very, very happy to be not a mother in that capacity.
Yeah. No, kids can definitely, they offer you a different perspective on your journey. That's for sure. And, you know, for me, it's just driven home more and more just how I have to take care of myself before I can take care of them. And it's not to say that you don't neglect them at the expense of, you know, trying to go to the gym or meditate or whatever, but you have to balance your life to where all of my responsibilities to myself are taken care of before I go take care of anybody else. And that's the hardest thing to balance. Like I was saying with the making the time for meditation. It's like when you have kids, you're always thinking about somebody else almost all the time. So it's hard to shift the gears back into, you know, like where I'm at now, where the boys they're old enough now that they can take care of themselves pretty much 100%. I mean, it's, you know, they can feed themselves, get dressed, they have everything. So now, you know, it's been a good time for me to have all of this time off, to be able to shift gears and get back into, okay, they're old enough now. I can focus more on what I need to do for myself and making myself healthy and starting to, you know, the long-term plan. Whereas just for the last, like, you know, 5 or 6 years, I've just been in straight survival mode. So it's snapping out of that and getting back into growth.